There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we are live. It is the Squared Circle Digest. Sean Stanley here, and a great night of action on SmackDown. But that's not the only thing going on. We got the NCAA tournament, baseball in action, men's basketball in action, the Heat's in action, AEW Rampage is just kicking off. And I got it all going on for you. So I'll keep you updated as it goes. Right now, the Heat are up 92-84. Canes baseball was up 8-1. I don't know if they added to that anytime recently. And 10:20 is when the Canes will tip off. So we'll make sure to get you caught up on all that. And Rampage is underway with the fight between Archer and Dustin Rhodes. But overall, SmackDown, I gotta give it an A, man. Especially with the ending. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, they continue to go. Lesnar almost gets his hand on Roman Reigns, building up for now, what are we, 9 days away, because they're going to be WrestleMania Sunday. So 9 days away for their match at WrestleMania, which will be for the undisputed WWE title and Universal title. Winner takes all. Some of the WrestleMania days are taking fold. I went to WWE.com, wrote down the matches that they had on there, and then the matches they said on SmackDown Live were a little bit different. So I'm going to go with the matches they said on SmackDown, and I took they put McIntyre Corbin on Saturday. Interesting, they put Becky and Bianca and Charlotte and Ronda, the two women's titles, both on the same night. And then Stone Cold on the KO show. Of course, other matches will be added, and I believe Seth Rollins will still be added on Sunday. Right now, it's Zayn and Knoxville, McAfee and Theory, the Raw Tag Team titles, RK Bro, Alpha Academy, Street Profits, and, of course, Lesnar and Reigns. So WrestleMania weekend starting to take fold finally, I guess, in a way. It's been a long time coming. If you're listening right now, throw on there what match you're most looking forward to at WrestleMania. It could be on Saturday or Sunday, either one. Overall, again, that SmackDown did, to me, deliver everything it needed to leading into a week away. Next week, they've already said it's the Andre Giant Battle Royal. It's kind of weird. They usually have that as a precursor on WrestleMania weekend. Apparently now it's moved to SmackDown. And then after SmackDown goes off the air next week on Peacock, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony will be held on Peacock as soon as SmackDown goes off the air. That was announced today. The one thing that did catch me on SmackDown, Ricochet, he's your Intercontinental Champion. He loses to Los Lotharios, both of them in single competition. Now both of them will get a title shot next week in a triple threat match. And then Zelina Vega is the one that taps out in a four-way match leading up to WrestleMania. And so I guess my question is this with WWE. Do these championships mean nothing anymore? The mid-card championships, do they mean anything anymore? You always have the contenders matches up there, but then the champion is always losing them. So to me, you've taken away from the titles that should probably mean something, because they're the titles, because you're not going to have your heavyweight champion fighting week in and week out on your SmackDown and Raw. So the titles that you have to have mean something, you're totally poo-pooing on. So it's interesting to me to see how, I guess, WWE just looks at the titles as they're just not much. And then I look at the other program, and you've had 4 heavyweight champions in 2 years. The TNT title has been on 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe 5 total. Miro, it was Cody, Brody Lee. You have Miro, Sammy Guevara, Cody, Scorpio Sky. Ron and Charlotte, I didn't see the whole show tonight, so I missed what happened. Basically, she came out wanting to fight her, and Charlotte said there was no way she'd show up in the scum of the earth that is Brooklyn, and she was being she was being satellited in from wherever she was at. I think that's the way they should have built this the whole time. I think they never should have touched the one time, or the 2 times they've touched, to me is totally. They brought me back in a little bit with the whole, Charlotte's like, there's no way you can beat me. I put you through a table. I've done this, and kind of pointed out some things. So they're starting to get me back on board, but I don't want to see them go at it again. I'm done with seeing them go at it. Let me wait till that Saturday night, and let me see what that goes. But the interesting thing with Saturday night now is who headlines the Saturday night. Is it going to be the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Is it going to be Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey? Or do you throw Becky Lynch against Bianca Belair, which is the Raw Women's Championship? So you got 3 opportunities there for the main event. So we'll see which one they go with. I honestly think it's going to be Charlotte against Ronda, but they also showed that they will also value the first match on the first night. So who starts that night? Is it Becky and Bianca starting the show, Charlotte Flair and Ronda ending the show, or does Charlotte and Ronda start the show, Stone Cold ends the show, or Becky Lynch ends the show? Yeah, no, Steve, I agree with you. She's got a violent streak. She's got a viciousness, but we need a lot more of that in today's wrestling. Yeah, I think it again though, but she is very comfortable in what she does. She's got the confidence in her abilities. And that's the one thing that you see when you have that confidence in your ability. And honestly, her gimmick is just an extension of her, which is what is always great, because it's not too much of a stretch. She's not trying to be something she's not. She's able to go out there and be her, tuned up. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying she walks around and punches people everywhere, but, amped up a little bit. But now she's allowed to be who she is. She doesn't have to worry about, after I punch somebody, I got to go and, be an ass to the crowd or something. She has that already. As soon as she does it, she just oozes. She looks at the crowd, and it's just, man. No, she is. She's good. And she's athletic too, man. And that's the thing with the women's division in WWE. To me, they are all so goddamn athletic, man. And I think maybe WWE does it right by going out and getting your gymnasts, your cheerleaders from college, your athletes from college that they do, lacrosse players. They got a lacrosse player, I think they signed in the NIL now, but they're very athletic. And then you train them, and then you hope they can, somehow be the next, I guess, Charlotte Flair, where she's a total package. Becky, total package. Bailey, total package. Sasha, total package. And again, I don't think Carmella's been able to show everything that she is. I don't think Natalia's been able to show everything that she is. Naomi, I don't think has been able to show everything she is. Shayna Baszler the same way. And then you go over to the other side, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan. I mean, this women's division in the WWE is stacked. It's really stacked. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because again, you've still got the women's tag team title, which I think is going to be on Sunday night, because right now there is no women's match on Sunday night. Some of the news that came out today, if you didn't see it yet on ESPN Plus, Stephen A's World, Triple H was the guest on there, and he announced that he would never wrestle again due to the the cardiac incident that he had. And, I mean, I think anybody that knew kind of the situation, the fact that I didn't know that he had a defibrillator in his chest now, but I mean, just the fact that, it was close enough to where, there was a time where at least the reports were that they didn't know if he was going to make it. And then listening to what he said, I mean, I forgot what he called it, but the fraction was down to like 22, which is not good at all. But he was able to battle back through it. And, again, he's living his life for his girls and Stephanie and everything there. But I think everybody realized that he probably would not be wrestling again. But it was good to see him there. And just looking, I guess, like himself a little bit, man. I mean, again, I don't know. He's got the suit on now, so I'm not sure if he's still working out as much as he was or as hard as he was, because he was starting to get kind of that Vince McMahon method where at midnight they were down in the gym, him and Stephanie working out. After the girls, kind of went to sleep, they'd go to the downstairs gym and work out and things like that. But to hear Triple H won't ever wrestle, I think a lot of people, at least I kind of had already figured that out. But sorely missed, man. He'll be sorely missed. And the fact, again, he can still pass on his knowledge and everything else like that. But knowing that there's not even, I guess, that glimmer of chance that, you could see, whatever, one more time, him and Shawn Michaels in a match, team up to do a DX type thing. But, that's it. But he's he's one of my favorite wrestlers, Triple H. I mean, I bought his book. I bought, the making of the game and all that stuff. I have his DVDs. I use the pedigree. I mean, the spine buster was from Arn Anderson, but I used it too because of him as well. But man, it hit me a little bit hard when he stated, again, if you followed it, you probably knew it was there, but to finally, I guess, to hear it said, the finality of it is really different there. So we'll see what happens there. Don't forget the Hall of Fame will be on Peacock right after SmackDown next week. Apparently they're going to do the show and then go right into the induction ceremony, which will have The Undertaker being inducted by Vince McMahon. And then you also have Shad Gaspard, which was announced today, getting the Warriors Award. So very, very good thing there. Just, man, it's WrestleMania. It's almost WrestleMania. We're less than 8 days away, baby. 8 days away from WrestleMania. Fan access, that's going on. They showed the store. They're going to have a huge store set up at WrestleMania. I'm very interested to see how well that store does and the money that comes out of there. I've already started watching wrestling again. I haven't seen him wrestle in years anyways. Yeah. No, I mean, again, he wrestled. I think the last time he wrestled physically was I guess they said his last match was with Randy Orton, but I don't know. I'm trying to think if that was before the debacle that happened in it was Kane and Undertaker against Shawn Michaels and Triple H in one of the Saudi shows. And then they also they showed a face-to-face with Randy Orton. I'm not sure which one was the 100% his last match. Let me check that. Let me see what was Triple H's last match. I know this is great radio here. Let's see here. I think it was that crazy match in Saudi is the one I think it is, because it was with Kane and Undertaker. Let's see. Everybody's apparently been looking up, because as soon as you put Triple H in on Google, it says his last match. Actually, his last match was an untelevised card in Tokyo in June 2019. His last televised match was a few weeks earlier against longtime rival Randy Orton in Saudi Arabia. Actually, there was another match in Saudi with Randy Orton, June 2019. So basically June 29th, an untelevised match in Tokyo would have been his last televised match against Randy Orton in Saudi. So 2019, he hasn't wrestled. It's almost been 3 years, as you said, Steve. I mean, you haven't been watching in a while, but he hasn't been doing a lot. He was doing NXT and handling that and passing on the knowledge. It was him, Shawn Michaels. You had Norman Smiley down there. You had a whole group of guys down there. But to answer your question, June 2019 would have been his last match, June 29th. So, man, but WrestleMania, baby. WrestleMania, and then Rampage is on right now. Lance Archer just beat Dustin Rhodes. The Heat are somehow now losing to the New York Knicks, and 3 minutes away from tip-off for basketball. So we have all that going on for you here in a moment. Let me see what the Canes baseball is. They were up 8-1 over North Carolina, and that's the number 13 team in the country. So they are kicking their buttocks today. And the only reason I'm not, because YouTube's been killing us lately. Yep. So it is. It looks like end of 7. It's still 8-1. The Canes leading the Tar Heels of North Kakalaki. Did you see? Yes, I did, man. I wish I would have put money down. Again, the interesting thing today, National Peacock Day, and then Peacock, the streaming service, put out a thing, and the Peacocks were plus 650 at one point today. I don't know what they ended at or what it was right before, but man, I wish I would have put some money on that, man. Plus 650. I thought the size of Purdue would win that out, but man, there's just so much happening right now. Wow, the NCAA tournament. You got the Heat somehow losing to the Knicks now by 2. They were up at one point by 13. It's unbelievable sometimes, man. It's unbelievable. And I know this is wrestling talk, but as you know, if you see Big O or anything else like that, we'll talk a little bit of everything. And right now, again, SmackDown ended. It was a great show, but you've got Canes about to tip off in 2 minutes. We've got the Heat trailing by 4 now with 2:20 to go. And the Canes, no, Steve, did not see that coming. Did not. I thought Purdue I thought it would be tougher than what people thought. And I thought, look, man, Providence surprised me. They got down early and weren't able to battle all the way back. But I honestly thought there for a minute they were going to actually pull an upset too, man. This NCAA tournament, and honestly, I think it's because of the whole G League and everything else. I think because of the G League and the fact that a lot of the ones and dones, I think it's kind of changed the landscape of basketball where there's a big, it's not all necessarily, your Dukes and Kansases, and yeah, they're still getting the wins and they're still getting the big signees and things like that. But man, there's so much, what is it? Just everybody has a chance to win, man. I can't think of the word right now. It's slipping my tongue, but there's so much, and I want to say parity, but I don't know if that's if I'm using it right, but there's just, and you look at these teams, and again, a lot of these teams, St. Peter's, man, they're not playing against these guys. How do you prepare for a St. Peter's? These guys got 4 guards. They're sitting there and they're, running up and down the court. What's up, Cap for life? They run up and down the court. With Purdue, they had, I think, 3 guys over 7 foot, and they found a way to make it happen, man. And I don't know if I can doubt the Peacocks anymore. I really don't. And this right now, there's a challenge in the Heat game. There's a foul called on Strus. Knicks lead 99-95. We're at 2 minutes to go there. The tip-off is coming for the Canes right now in March Madness. Is scheduled for 10:20. So hopefully they're underway there. It looks like they are. UCLA is leading UNC 22-16 right now. So so much going on, man. There's so much sports right now. And the Canes lead 8-1 at the end of 7 against North Carolina. If you're wondering about some Canes baseball as well. So we're going to cover a little bit of everything. I'll answer some wrestling questions if you got them. But, man, Steve, as you were saying, I mean, I know O's not a big college basketball guy, but, man, this tournament, oh, Steve, you're a Celtics fan, man? Jeez, man. You should have left it as a Celtics can. I like it better that way. I like it better as a Celtics can, not a Celtics fan. The story with Cody Rhodes. It's very tight-lipped, everything that's going on, but the story I've heard, and I have no insider or anything else like that, it was, oh, you do live in Massachusetts. Okay. All right, well then. All right. I'm sorry. I take that back. Cody Rhodes wanted more money. AEW didn't want to give him more money, and he can get more money with WWE. And that's pretty much the way it goes, the way it happens in wrestling. And again, AEW wanted to go more of a tier pay to be fair to, the wrestlers. I think ultimately they've had to have strayed away from that, because I can't believe Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, and some of these other guys are wrestling on a tier. But ultimately it came down to money, and he's leaving. Apparently there's a documentary too that he did on his dad that's going to be coming out. So, and he's a big proponent in it. I'm very interested in seeing that once that goes out. But basically it came down to money. And ultimately I think too is, again, AEW ultimately was the elite, which was Cody, Omega, the Young Bucks. I think they had this idea that, Tony was probably going to come in and be a money man, and that's it. But Tony's gotten very involved, and probably rightfully so. And it's kind of probably rubbed some of them the wrong way, because now TK is running things. And I think AEW is in a good position. I don't think it's a bad thing that TK, and man, the Knicks are going to end up beat the Heat. The Knicks are probably going to end up beating the Heat. They're up 103-95, 139 to go. Right now, the Canes up 5-0 on Iowa State. Another turnover just happened. So we'll see how they go. They're starting this out good. Another forced turnover they've got 21 for the tournament, man. And they're fun to watch, man. Man, I got to watch myself. I'm going to start just watching them play. Steve says, Boston, except the Finns, have always been my first love. Have you always been in Massachusetts, Steve? How did the Finns, why were the Finns your first love? What happened there? I'd like to hear that story. I don't know anything. I don't think I've ever heard, the story of how you became a Finns fan. I mean, for me, it's basically I was born here and, born and bred here. Jim Jensen was actually my favorite Dolphin, and that's why I wore number 11. Oh boy, it's a long story. Okay, never mind. We ain't got to get all into it today. We ain't got to get all into that. But the Heat, again, they're losing. No fighting tonight, apparently, though. So I guess that's growing, right? We've grown. We're not fighting each other in the huddle yet. We'll see how that goes, though, because there's still 57 seconds to go. UCLA, that game's tightened up now. They lead 24-22 over Carolina. And real early, Miami is up. They were up, I think, 7-0. So we'll have to see where we're at there. And yeah, it's yes, I believe it's 7-0 right now on Iowa State. And man, I can't believe the Heat, for everything that's been so good about the Heat this season. Man, I can't believe. Okay, we're going to a huddle. This could get interesting. So I'll let you know what happens here with the Heat. They are not even showing the huddle. They went straight to the Knicks. Bally's understands who their partner is there. They're making sure they're not showing anything of the Heat. So we'll have to see where they go from there. But man, like I said earlier, SmackDown was a great show tonight. It built up. Lesnar, Reigns, I don't expect anything different from them. They are on a crash course, and I can't wait till they meet, and I hope they get time. I hope it's not, not this whole thing, and then they don't get the time they need to tell a good story in a match. And I'm happy that at this time it won't be a Seth Rollins running in at the end and curb stomping Roman Reigns and getting the pin. So we'll see how that goes. Don't know if it's true, but I heard the Giant is bringing Cap for Life. It is, I believe, true. The trademark was applied for and given. So Captain Insano could be coming to the AEW. It was signed for. Actually, Ric Flair now, Mike Tyson's CBD, or what is it? I believe it's a CBD company. They have signed Ric Flair on, and there's going to be a Nature Boy line of product coming out in the CBD stuff. That's what that whole there's a whole story on that Cap for Life. But apparently he has signed on with Mike Tyson and Tyson 2.0, I think it's called. And yeah, they're going to be doing a Nature Boy string of CBD and some of that other stuff there. AKW beats. He's in with the yo. Triple H, my favorite wrestler of all time. He was my favorite wrestler of all time. He was one of my favorites. Talked about it a little bit earlier. I mean, I used the pedigree for a little while as a finisher because I did it because of him. The spine buster I loved because of Arn Anderson, but also did it because of the way Triple H did it too. All local games blacked out when I was a kid, so no Patriots on TV. Oh yeah, because the Patriots weren't too good. That was the Steve Grogan days, right? Or was that even before Grogan? Dolphins are the best team. Mercury, okay. Oh, you're in the 70s. Wow, so that would have been way before Grogan. Carlos Herza, what's up, my man? We're talking some pro wrestling. The Heat are down by 5. The Canes are up by 7. They lead 7-0 early in their matchup. The Tar Heels are down by 2 to the Bruins. So we're keeping you up to date on the NCAA tournament. The Miami Heat, they're in a huddle and no fighting, so it's all good. Plunkett, okay. Triple H, my favorite. I love to hate. Carl Sarza said, "What's up, family?" All right, they're showing the huddle, and nobody is yelling at each other. They're just talking, and Eric Spoelstra is smacking his hand. And oh, look at this! Look at this! Jimmy Butler gets up and walks out. No punches thrown. Drew McIntyre's out of WrestleMania. I'm gonna have to Cap for Life. Where are you hearing that from? Did you get hurt tonight? Not gonna lie, man. I was watching SmackDown, but the Peacocks, when they kept getting closer and closer, I'm not gonna lie. I was watching that match a little bit more than I was paying attention to SmackDown, because the Peacocks there plus 650 put it on Purdue, and the Knicks. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Butler just hit a 3 to cut it to within 4. Not going to do all 100%. I don't think Drew McIntyre's out of WrestleMania unless something happened that I'm unaware of there, Cap for Life. I don't see anything listed. My understanding was he was going to take on Happy Corbin, so we'll have to see where that goes. The Xavier Woods did come back tonight. King Woods returned, and he beat Ridge Holland. I couldn't think of his name for a minute. So that was the big return tonight. So I'm thinking you're probably going to get a tag team match. The neck injury. That was old. Did he injure the neck again? That's how they kind of took him out for a little bit leading up to WrestleMania. I didn't think he got his neck hurt again. Let me see here. Yeah, no. I think that's old, Cat for Life. I think you're looking at something old. He's returned. That was part of the angle they were running with Happy Corbin and thing. You might be thinking Big E broke his neck with Ridge Holland. Maybe you are. Maybe Steve, you might be onto something there. Cat for Life. I know Big E did break his neck as the C1 and C6, I believe. So yeah, he took a bad spill outside. Ridge Holland went to do a over the head, belly to belly, and he basically landed right on his neck, and that was that for him. But the good news was no surgery was going to be required there. River, off topic, but WTH. Wait a minute, hold on. What are you saying there? River Craft? River Craft? What is that? Juice. Let's see. Yeah, Steve Chapman, you're right, because it's all fake, don't you know? Yeah, that's the problem I have with the F word. Is the injuries are real, man. You can't, the bumps and the bruises and the muscle tears and everything like that, man. Yeah, predetermined. You can say choreographed, you can say, predetermined, you can say all that, but the F word there, not believing that. Iowa State has cut the lead to 2. It's 10-8 right now, and the Knicks 111-103 over the Heat. So the Heat now have lost 3 in a row. And man, and of course, Duncan takes a 3 and he misses it at the buzzer. And that is it. 111-103. The Heat lose 3 in a row. And the Knicks celebrate in FTX Arena. Ay, Dios mío. Ah, can't believe it. Cannot believe it. Oh. Man, what is going on with them? I cannot believe that. The Knicks, ouch. 100% ouch. I don't know, man. You look to see what's different, and there's I don't know, man. I look at a team and I don't know where the difference is right now. I mean, they're not making their shots. I mean, Oladipo came back and he hasn't been the answer. And man, I mean, I'm at a loss with this Heat team right now. I really am. I mean, nothing's been made up of the whole thing, man, but I thought maybe at least after that whole kerfuffle with, Butler UD, they would come out and at least, not saying you had to, but beat the Knicks by 10, make it, like show that you have the moxie or something. There was nothing, man. They at one point were up by 13 points and they lost the lead and lose by 8. It's a 21-point swing. Man, Butler needs to sit them down. Lowry, that veteran leadership on that team needs to set this right, man. Because right now, it doesn't matter who we play at 8. Yeah, I mean, they'll get hit with. Yeah. They need to get hit with something right now, man. Maybe they should just let them fight right there They should have probably let UD and Butler just throw. Call timeout, get everybody to the locker room, and just let them punch the crap out of each other or something, man. At this point, and honestly, I don't know that it's effort or anything like that. How about Roman Reigns? No, dude, Roman Reigns is good, and I appreciate JKW Beats. Roman Reigns, you saw tonight what he's about, man. I mean, he is the WWE right now. He comes out. I like the way that, again, they built him up as, you acknowledge me, the alpha. Now he's kind of like, with everything that's going on with Brock Lesnar, now he's kind of like, wait, Brock's here? Oh, I'm not coming in. Like you're starting to see him do that, the slithering out of things and things like that, which I'm so glad they're doing with him and Lesnar, because I don't want to see every week them going at each other, because it gets old, as I said, with the Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. I was so happy this week they did not let them get a hold of each other, because it builds everything up, man. It just, to me, it builds up. If I watch Charlotte Flair week in and week out choke Ronda Rousey out, beat her up, lay her out, or this vice versa, to me, it takes away from everything in the match, because I've already seen all of the only thing I'm going to see different is this time when they tap out or they get pinned, it means something. Other than that, I've watched everything that's going to happen in that match all through SmackDown and Raw, and probably 10,000 times on vignettes throughout each one. Impossible not to get hurt in wrestling. Not impossible, but you're going to end up with some neck injuries probably out of it, and hip more than likely. More. Yeah, no, he has been the best thing in wrestling, but also he's one of the guys that they trust with themselves, with creative too. And I think that helps, man. I think when they show that they trust in you, and you're allowed to have that creative control, and he's got Heyman with them and Lesnar, those three are probably, most of the stuff that's going on right now is probably those three putting it together. Whereas the rest of the guys and the gals have got to go with whatever's being written for them. Maybe KO with Stone Cold, that's probably not going to, there. But for the most part, they're going off the trash that's being given to them. Like, hey, here's what you guys need to do. Whereas with Roman, Brock, and Paul Heyman, they're probably in the back going, okay, this is what we're doing this week. And then next week, it'll lead to this. And then the week after that, it's going to lead to this. And then finally, when we get to WrestleMania, it's way up at the top, and then bam, we get them. Paulie helps. Paulie is a genius, man. And I guarantee you, most of the stuff that's going on right now is probably Paul Heyman, with input from, Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Look, Lesnar's very smart, man, business-wise and wrestling-wise, man. He's not gonna do something that's gonna hurt. Well, the whole thing with her getting hurt was it ripped like a piece of skin that attaches your lip to your jaw or something, is what she did. And then it was they put the medical term on it, which I thought when I first saw it, I was like, damn, she did something. I thought it was a knee, honestly. I went and looked up exactly what it was, and it's a piece of skin that attaches like the mouth and the jaw. And apparently it got ripped. And that was the blood coming out of her on her teeth when she got put through the table last week. And that's what actually happened. I guess when you're talking about that hard fall out of the ring, I think that's when it probably happened. But it ended up just being a flap of skin that holds her jaw and her mouth. So I mean, ultimately, it's not going to affect her at all. So I don't think that's gonna affect her there at all in the match, anyways. But getting back to Paul Heyman, Brock, and Roman, they're three guys that get it. They're three guys that get the business. They understand that, okay, this week we need to do this, because ultimately it's going to lead to, the whole thing right now is you're seeing Brock chasing Roman, and Roman running each time, Roman's escaping each time. But when it gets to WrestleMania and it finally gets to the match, now he can't escape, right? So now you've built everything right there, and you're probably going to see at the beginning of this match, I would think, is you're going to see Roman take an ass whooping for the first 5 to 6 minutes and get thrown all around the ring, all outside the ring, and then ultimately you'll probably see maybe Heyman do something to where Reigns gets back in, or maybe Brock goes for a spear or something and goes through the guardrail or into the steel, or something like that. And then Roman will slow the match down, and you'll see, build up. That's why I hope they give them enough time at WrestleMania, because I would love to see a whole story be told with everything we're seeing leading up to it. I don't want it to be the Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, 15 seconds. It's a jackhammer and a pin there. I want to see a story get told. That, to me, WrestleMania used to be about, ending the big storyline of the year. The big storyline of this year has been Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Now it's time to end that at the last night of WrestleMania. Like Ronda and Charlotte, the Brock and Roman feud is believable. Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's not necessarily a believability. I just think you have an antagonist, and when you have an antagonist, then you can have somebody that you want to cheer, right? You want to cheer for the guy that get their ass whooped, and then so you have, you know, it's like with Dusty Rhodes back in the day when he always had the antagonist. In Championship Wrestling from Florida, it was Kevin Sullivan. It was One Man Gang, Sir Oliver Humperdinck. When it went up into NWA, it was the Russians. It was Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff. Then as it was NWA going into WCW, it was the Four Horsemen. Anytime you have the antagonist that makes you believe that they are that, which Roman is doing to a T. Roman is doing to a T is the guy that you want somebody to whoop his ass. And now you have Brock Lesnar, who's going to be that person. The way Charlotte Flair is being the antagonist, you want to see her get her ass whooped. And Ronda Rousey is that person. That, again, when you have that believability, it makes it something more than just being, hey, you go out there to the ring and let's hope something magical happens. Like I'm very interested in the Austin Theory Pat McAfee match because they have set it up to where Austin Theory has come out and he keeps running and he keeps running. And now you want to see him get his ass whooped. Do they allow Pat McAfee to be that guy? How do they do that in this WrestleMania match? Do they let Pat get to where he beats his ass, almost to a pulp, and then all of a sudden Austin Theory cheats and beats him? Because then you hurt Austin Theory. Because Austin Theory's been getting built up, and you saw him with Finn Balor and things like that. So, when you have the antagonist, you can build the face to make, as long as it's a believable guy, you can build that person to be. And in the two instances that you spoke of, they're very, very believable. When you look at Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar. Again, take out the UFC stuff, but Brock Lesnar, when you put him in a ring with anybody, in a wrestling ring, who are you going to say, okay, they don't, Brock doesn't stand a chance against that guy? With Ronda Rousey, the same thing, and the way you build up Charlotte and the way you've built up Roman is allowing you to feed, which is why I think no matter who they end up putting in the next feud with Roman Reigns, you're going to see them succeed. Because Roman is such a great antagonist. Hell, even when he was the Shield, you saw him have a little bit of that streak of just being just an ass, man. Like that look like he knows he's better than you. The Ric Flair style, like, I know I'm better than that. I know I'm better than everybody here. He has that. And no matter what you do with him, ultimately, you're going to see, hey, listen, all right? I was given this by my daughter, okay? That's why I'm wearing it, all right? All right? So, Julian, shh. That's why it's covered up. Well, I thought it was covered up. There we go. All right, that better? Let's see. A match between Lesnar and John Studd. No, yeah. I would have loved to see Lesnar and Lesnar and Gordy, Lesnar and Bam Bam Bigelow. I get it. Everybody that's seen him in WWF, you're going to be like, wait a minute, Bam Bam Bigelow. But Japan, Bam Bam Bigelow, Japan, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, those guys with Brock Lesnar. No, you talking about some hard-hitting stuff. Stan Hansen against Brock Lesnar. I would love to watch a lot of those matches. And I'm talking about the, Japan level, not the stuff you saw with Bam Bam at WWE and all that stuff. That guy could go. I mean, it's what they did, Bam Bam, and then when Gordy came in as the executioner near the end of his career, just messed up, man. Just messed up. So I'm gonna pose a question here. WrestleMania, you got 2 nights. Which match are you most looking forward to? Just throw it in the chat real quick. What are you most looking forward to? Actually, I won't even say match because somebody might be, but what has got you saying, okay, I need to see this on the WrestleMania card on Saturday or Sunday? See what we get here. And Iowa State's got it down to 2 at 16-14. Wow, Steve. Okay. Rhonda, Charlotte. Okay. Edge, AJ. Yep. Okay. Wow. I thought we'd get a lot more of the match that they kind of spotlighted the most, but I'm glad to see, that we have actual. No, I'm not saying again. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Reigns and Brock too. Okay. All right. Carlos, hey, look, man. I mean, Bam Bam was a badass, bro. Bam Bam was a badass. He could go. There's a reason Bam Bam versus Henry. Yeah, no, that would be good. I think any of the big guys, again, when you have those guys and they are both athletic and they can go, it's not just a big guy. Just like my thing with Omos right now is the fact that he's a big guy, but what can he do? You had guys like Bam Bam, and I get it. Bam Bam wasn't, 7 foot tall, but damn, he could go. Or Macho Man, that would remind me so much of Steamboat and Macho Man. That's probably one of my favorite. I don't know how many WWE guys and gals we have here listening. What is your favorite WrestleMania match all time? All time. And again, I know some of you, you can't remember everything, but your favorite WrestleMania match of all time. All right, Rick Steiner and Mr. Mr. Perfect than anybody. Mr. Perfect could wrestle a broom and you'd sit there and watch it and you'd probably make it a 5-star match. AKW beats Charlotte, Ronda, Stone Cold. See, here's the whole thing. I don't know if Stone Cold is fighting KO. I mean, ultimately, it's going to turn into a fight, but the whole thing's built up as him appearing on the KO show. And both of them have been saying how they're going to kick each other's ass. So I'm not sure at what point it took the turn it did, but I think it would have been better off just trying to promote it as, the whole KO show and then letting it turn into whatever. Because now you're expecting a fight between the two. And if the fight doesn't happen, I can only imagine what WWE Twitter would be if Stone Cold and KO don't go to fisticuffs. And the reason I asked about the favorite WrestleMania match at all time, let's see, the ladder match at WrestleMania 10 or Hogan Andre at WrestleMania 3. Yeah, see, it's funny. Yeah, no, I like both of those are good. Rock versus Carlos. He's just having his own fantasy WrestleMania here. Rock versus Hulk. Yeah, no, I mean, from a standpoint of, entertainment wise, I Rock and Hulk is always the one to me, just because the way they had the fans from the beginning, just the way they looked at each other and then looked out into the crowd and everybody was chanting from there. But my favorite wrestling match was Savage Steamboat at 3. That is my favorite, the Intercontinental title match at 3. That was probably my favorite WrestleMania match. And I know there's been a lot since then and everything there. And the Undertaker, Shawn Michaels was fantastic. I was there for the Triple H Undertaker Hell in a Cell. I was there for Rock and Cena and the electricity and things like that. But from a pure wrestling standpoint and a story that was being told between the two guys, because again, remember, leading up to that match, he dropped the bell on his throat and crushed his larynx and things like that. And then that was the first match back. It was just one of those things where the full story was told and you saw it unfold in a fantastic match. And to see that, on a big stage like WrestleMania, those times, there's always those moments, right? I mean, what Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, the fact that, the Iron Man match, and then they're like, oh, we got to go to overtime. And then, Shawn Michaels catches them with the super kick. You always, yeah, no. I mean, I've heard that Macho was like very, very, very detailed to a almost to a I don't know, annoying. Like everything was mapped out for the match. Like even like at this point, this is when I'm gonna do my little oh yeah and everything. Like all that is already in there. Meticulous, man. You guys are good. You guys are wordsmiths. I'm not a wordsmith. I'm a very common speaker. Language arts, English was not my forte in class or school, whatever you want to call it. But I'll start learning from. I'm going to start using the big words. Steve Chapman will teach me what I learn here. I'll throw it out. Roman versus Brock one. It is underrated. I think it's underrated due to the fact of the way it ended. Again, they were just pawns in the full story of Seth Rollins at that time. I think that was one, right? When Seth Rollins cashed in. The match was great, but unfortunately it was all set up to be for, Seth Rollins to come out and cash in a Money in the Bank, which at the time was a great thing because it threw a monkey wrench in WrestleMania, right? I mean, you never thought for an instant that Seth Rollins would leave WrestleMania as a champion. And now here we are, another WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar headlining. Seth Rollins has no match. Shall I say? We'll see. No, but I think Seth Rollins will have an opponent. I think we'll see the dashing Cody Rhodes either this Monday or announced at WrestleMania. I believe it has been signed. I don't know if it's been sealed and delivered yet, but I believe the contract has been signed. So we'll see where it goes from there. Yeah, okay. All right. Just making sure that was the one. And I know they've had a few, a couple matches and things like that, but that was a great match. I mean, the whole thing, but I just think the fact that it was laid out the way it was to get to the point to where Seth could cash in takes away a little bit from it. But you're right, underrated. It was very physical. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because remember, it was the what was it? It was going to be an F5, and Roman dropped out of it, speared him. That's when Brock went out of the ring, and that's when Seth came running in, and as Roman was starting to pick himself up, hit him with the curb stomp, and Seth Rollins becomes the champ. But that's not happening this time. I can guarantee you that. They've taken care of the whole thing. Oh, check out what I got. Somebody sent it to me. I don't know if you can see it. It's an Otis Money in the Bank. Look at that guy. Otis Money in the Bank. With a little money in a bank briefcase. There we go. Oh, Carlos Herza. No tough questions, man. It's too late for that crap. Too late for that crap. What is the question? There's Charlotte Flair. Is Carlos Herza just said, is that the tough question? We'll have to see what the tough question is here. Right now, 7:36 to go in the first half. The Canes, 17, Iowa State, 14. And the Canes are at the free throw line there. Still waiting for the tough question, Carlos. You've got me hanging here. They missed the free throws, so Iowa State. And right now, UCLA still leads by 3 over North Carolina. So we'll see. Miami, Iowa State winner gets Kansas, and North Carolina, UCLA winner gets the Peacocks of St. Peter's. All right. Sean, have you seen the Butcher Vachon wedding reception episode on Tuesday Night Titans back in the 80s? An all-time classic. It's on Peacock. I highly recommend it. I remember watching it live. I haven't watched it in a while. I would have to go back and watch that, because those were, like, I don't even know if you remember, and this is going to show my age, but at the time there was a Hillbilly Jim. For those that know Hillbilly Jim, and then there was Uncle Elmer. I don't even remember if you know that, but he got married in the wrestling ring. And I think at that time it was a work, but it was a shoot. They got married. It wasn't like the Elizabeth Randy Savage wedding where it was setting up for a thing, or all the things they do in the rings now where you watch what was it? I was watching it the other day. It was who was the wedding? It wasn't Edge and Vicky. There was a wedding, and that's when Eric Bischoff and them introduced 3-minute warning. And Eric Bischoff ripped off he was doing the officiating the wedding, and he rips off the face, and he's like, and you've got 3 minutes. And then they hit the ring and destroyed it. It was, you know what it was? It was Billy and Chuck, the wedding they were doing, Billy and Chuck, when they were doing that gimmick with Chuck Palumbo and Billy Gunn, and they were going to marry each other. And then as they were going through, they started going, wait, we're not really doing this, right? And then he pulled off the mask and did all that. Shawn Michaels, Double J. That was no. When he came down on the zip line was Bret Hart. That was the WrestleMania where he won his title. When he came down on the zip line. That was not with Double J. Oh my God, so freaking good. Albano was so genius. Lou Albano was great. Was great for everything. I mean, the fact that the whole thing that he did with Cyndi Lauper and Wendy Richter and Moolah, and I know how everything ended up finishing, but the way that was built up with them, I mean, they helped make I am 99% sure AKW beats, but look, he might have came down on a zip line other times too, but the one that I remember, he came down from the top of the building and then into the crowd, and then that was the Iron Man match with Bret Hart, if that's the one you're referring to. Captain Lou was dancing with the lady midget wrestler, and Blassie was laughing. Oh yeah, dude, Fred Blassie. Back then, you had the Wizard, the Grand Wizard. You had who was the other ones? Albano, Freddie Blassie, Arnold Skolland was with Bob Backlund. I mean, you had some guys back then, but Albano and Blassie, those guys, like you really, you talk about managing and everything like that, but like back then you really were their managers. A lot of those guys entrusted in a lot of those guys to make sure and take care of them in their territories. And again, once they got to what they were at WWE and then it grew up, then you started getting your own. Those were the only 4 at that time. Yeah. And then who would have been the next one to come along after that? Who would have been the next manager? Heenan, I guess. I guess it would have been Heenan, I think. After those 4, and they're kind of were phasing them out. I guess Heenan. I'm trying to look back now and think. You had Slick as well, who came in. That was with Akeem, Big Boss Man. That was a little bit later. Bobby Heenan was there. Slick took over for Blassie. Yeah, he retired. Yep. But I mean, again, there's just when you got a good manager too, though, is like nowadays. Like I wish Omos, if you can get somebody. I liked him with AJ because AJ could have been his talking piece. but you need to get him with somebody. Omos does not need to talk right now, and he just needs to have somebody talk, somebody come down, he beats the crap out of somebody, get him out of there. That's all that needs to happen right now with Omos. Just keep him growing and going and letting him beat up, the lower card guys, or bring in the security guys that Brock Lesnar beat the crap out of tonight. Bring them in, let Omos beat them, and things like that. But that's what you need to do with Omos. Don't put him in with like the Commander Aziz guys and things like that. Unless it's gonna be quick squash matches, that then you can do it. And they generate as much heat or more than, or no, yeah, but that's the whole thing. That's what they were. Every match wasn't on TV back then, so you had a lot more. Like I love going to the WWE live events. I don't like going to the Raws. I don't like going to SmackDowns. I like going to the live matches because then they bring you into the match. They talk to the crowd. They wrestle for the crowd, the live crowd. When they're on TV, they're wrestling for the camera. You're going to get the oohs and ahs from the crowd that's there, but they're wrestling for that red light. Wherever that red light is, that's where their attention is. They can care less about the thousands in attendance. On the live events, you can get some good stuff there. Just the entrances and things they'll do. They'll do things at live events that you won't see at the, the 3 minutes you get to see them. That's the other thing. You get them for 3 minutes on TV matches. You'll get them for 10, 15 minutes at a live event. So to me, live events are a lot better. Let's see here. What else we got? We'll keep you updated. Right now, the Canes up 25-21, 3:54 to go. The Tar Heels, they trail the Bruins by 3, 33-30. And it's getting about that time now. Thank you all for tuning in to this edition of the SmackDown recap Rampage. Really didn't pay attention a lot to that recorded show, unfortunately. The Heat lose 111-103, and your Canes are playing right now. They lead Iowa State 25-21 with the winner going on to play the number one team, the Kansas Jayhawks. So, thank you for letting me talk a little bit of sports, and thank you for letting me talk a little bit of my passion, which is wrestling. I thank you all, and thank you for making me better. And until next week, I'll talk to you then. And in the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the Sunshine State.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and